Hello class, so today in my speech I'm going to be talking about how instead of buying our pets from rescuers and breeders, that we should adopt from animal shelters, and I have three reasons why. One of the reasons why is because of the different environmental factors that they're forced to deal with, and also how they are mistreated by some of the workers, and I have a good example of that, how they're mistreated. And the second reason why is because how shelters get overcrowded and they are forced to euthanize pets that just get pushed to the back of the line basically. And the third reason why is because of how animal shelters prices are much better than rescuers and breeders. So the first reason why was because of the environmental factors that they're forced to deal with. That's just like when it's like raining and it gets like super cold in the winter. I think it was like 58 degrees last time. It gets cold and the grounds get cold, and I could just imagine like all the dogs are just freezing out there in their cages and everything, because I get cold when I go outside when it's like 58 degrees. And it's the same thing when it gets like hot, like 105. I feel like they have like no way to cool down or anything like that. So, and how they're mistreated, I have a personal experience on that. When I was like 8 years old and I lost my dogs, they ran away, and 3 weeks later we ended up seeing them on the animal shelter page. And when we saw them, we got all excited and everything, and we were on the way to go pick them up, and we got all excited and we're looking through the aisles as we're there, and we see one of the workers hosing one of the dogs. And as we get closer, like the dog's like in the corner trying not to get wet and everything, and we see that it's our dog, and my sister like flips out and like all hell breaks loose, like pushes the worker down and everything. So I had to break them up, but we ended up filing a complaint. But the complaint didn't really do anything, because the next week we had to pick up our dogs, and the worker was still there. So I feel like the workers there are just there to get paid, and that's understandable because that's what every job, you just want to get paid basically. But I feel like they should have some type of care for the animals if they're gonna work there. And the second reason why was because the overcrowding and they get euthanized. So when dogs get old, it's not when they just get old too, they've been there for like long periods of times. They get euthanized, and they have no control over that. They just get pushed to the back of the line because younger dogs attract more attention than like the older dogs. So I think the statistics were like, and this from Pet MD, I think it was like 6.5 million animals come in each year, and 1.3 are euthanized each year, and I think it was like 670 dogs and 800 cats get euthanized. So yeah, I think the only way to change those numbers is to adopt pets. And the third reason why was because of the prices, and I have an example on that too. When I wanted to buy a dog last Thanksgiving, and I was looking at this one puppy that I wanted, and when I found the puppy, I ended up putting my name down and everything, but the next day it ended up getting picked up by a rescue team. And when it got picked up by a rescue team, it was in like LA. And so I went all the way out to LA to like some event they had, like adoption event. And when I got there, there was like a huge line, but I still filed my name in, but like the down payment was like $350, and the dog was like worth like $600. So I knew I wasn't gonna get that dog right then and there. But then I started looking around and everything, and all the prices were like basically like 500 to 600. So I wasn't gonna get that dog. And when I went back, I think it was the week before, the week of Thanksgiving, like 2 days before, I found another puppy, which is my Jax now, and I found him and I picked him up Thanksgiving morning, and I think he was $70 plus the two vaccinations. The first two vaccinations were free, and he got neutered, and that's like a way better deal compared to the prices of the rescuers and everything like that. And in solution, if you don't want to adopt a pet, you can always foster them in the meantime, and for however long, and you can find them a owner, or the pound might find an owner, or you never know, you might get attached to them so much that you might keep them. And so, in conclusion, you should buy your pets from animal shelters instead of rescuers or buyers because of the environmental factors and how they're mistreated. And the second reason is because of the euthanization that's going on because they get overpopulated. And the last reason is because of the prices that you have to pay for at shelters compared to the breeders. Thank you.
All right, Sarah, what did you think?
I thought you outlined it well, but I didn't think there was like a really good hook at the beginning. I thought that there needs to be like more sources for each of your topics. I only picked up on one from PetMD. I don't know if there are others, but I think there need to be like more stats. Because there's just a lot of opinions saying like I think this, which is fine, but there just needs to be like more sources I felt to back it up. You didn't, I mean the eye contact was fine at times, but you looked like up at the ceiling or like somewhere else, I don't really know where. But it was really clear you knew a lot about what you were talking about and that like you had an emotional attachment. And I think you did a good job choosing a topic that like everyone like likes pets, and I think like everyone related to it. Like no one wants, you know, dogs or any animal to be put down. So it was a really good topic to talk about. But I think we could just tell you were a little bit like nervous. I think, yeah, it was good.
All right. I'll echo a lot of the things that you said. I think that it's well organized. There's not really much of a, there isn't really an attention device. You just go right to the topic. You could use some additional research. I was a little confused on the first point because you're telling us to get the animals from the animal shelter, and the reason that we're doing this is not because that's a good place to go, but because it's a bad place to go, and we've got to get them the hell out of there. That's kind of what you were saying, and that was kind of confusing to me because I think the bigger problem with animals that lack homes is not that they're in shelters, it's that they're not in shelters, and that they end up in shelters as a transition to get into people's homes. And you know, it felt a little bit like you were going after the wrong target in that situation. The information about the rescues and the breeders, I think, needs to be developed a little bit more. There's no discussion of the breeders that I noticed, and then the rescue groups, you seem to have anxiety about the rescue groups primarily because of the prices that have to pay and the line that you have to get in to get those things. I'm not sure that that is a strong emotional reason for us to choose to adopt an animal from a shelter. But your personal motivation for talking about the issue, I think, is good. You've got your own experiences that you're talking about and using. I think that does give you a little bit of credibility. It does seem to suggest that you care about the issue to some degree. And then the delivery issues, you look up, but you do have a tendency to kind of look around a little bit while you're talking to us. The thing that was distracting to me is the hands in the pocket. It makes it feel like you were kind of disengaged. You're just kind of, I'm standing here like standing on the street corner giving a speech, and I'm not really engaging with people. I'm just talking out loud. You need to engage a little bit more, that sense of immediacy. But I think when I'm listening to your voice, I think you do a very effective job. So you got to work on some of those nonverbals a little bit. All right, thank you.